One thing I want to do on this channel going forward is to feature more Australian-made gear, and we're going to get the ball rolling with this pedal, the Hyspec Handwired Stoner Fuzz, which hails from my hometown of Perth in Western Australia. This is a pretty unique take on a traditional fuzz circuit. It is handmade using point-to-point components, and it uses transistors throughout. So this is very much the old school way of making a fuzz pedal. However, there's a few main differences. You'll notice that there's a drive knob, and we've actually got our jacks mounted to the top of the pedal, which some of you are going to love, some of you are going to hate. I think it's really cool. It's great to do something different for once, having seen how many derivative fuzz pedals there are on the market. I like it. I like things that are pushing the envelope a little bit, and that's certainly something that's different. Something else that's different is rather than a traditional EQ control, we have these IQ controls. IQ1, which operates on the input of the pedal, and IQ2, which operates on the output. Hyspec basically say that this is like a built-in mod, so a lot of the time you'll buy a fuzz pedal and it doesn't quite work with your guitar's pickups, or it doesn't quite work with your amplifier, and the idea with the IQ is it lets you fine-tune that interaction between the guitar and the pedal, and then the pedal and the amp, which I think is super awesome. There's also a 6-way diode selection switch, which is even handier, so there is a lot of different tones in this thing. Let's have a listen to it in a track on guitar and bass really quickly, and then we're going to have a listen to a couple of other clips just demonstrating the clipping selection and then the IQ controls. So what you heard there were dual track guitars. I used my PRS SC245. I used the silicon diodes on the left track, and I used, I think it was L2 on the other track, and I tweaked the IQ controls on both of them. I think I had like IQ1 on 1 and IQ2 on 10, and vice versa for each of those tracks. So two distinctly different fuzz tones there. And I also use it on bass, and what I like about this is a lot of the time with fuzz pedals and bass, they're really picky about the input and output stage, so the IQ control was really easy to just dial in a good bass sound there. So let's have a listen to what the actual different clipping types sound like. I'm just going to play the same riff using my PRS into the pedal, and I'll just basically turn the knob and we can have a listen to what that does. So with just the selector switch alone to select the diodes, it's like having 6 different fuzzers in one, which is super cool. Let's have a listen to what the IQ controls do. I'm going to start with IQ1 on 1, IQ2 on 10, then we'll flip that order around and just play around with a couple of different values. Personally, out of those clips, I really tend to gravitate towards the thick, dark-sounding fuzzers, but if you're somebody who likes almost a treble booster kind of sound, you can hear that by tweaking the IQ controls, you can get that going on really quickly. And of course, let's have a listen to the difference between a guitar equipped with humbuckers and a guitar equipped with single coils. Again, I should mention as well, anytime I'm going for these type of tones, I always like to run these into a moderately crunchy amp, as you could hear in one of the earlier clips. So that is the StonerDrive featuring their Tone IQ system by Hyspec Handwired. New Australian company. They're from Perth. I'm super stoked about it. I think the pedal looks great. It's one of these things where it's nice and heavy, which I really like. So you stick that on your board and it is going to stay there and not move. And it's essentially like a whole bunch of different fuzz pedals in one. It's like the greatest hits of 60s and 70s fuzz. And yeah, you can totally tailor it to your amp and your guitars, which I think a lot of fuzz pedals don't necessarily do. And you know, you got this sort of unique layout as well. So yeah, well done Hyspec. Pretty stoked about this, pretty stoked to try this pedal. I'll put their details in the video description. And if you liked the video, please hit the subscribe button, tick the little bell, and I'll see you guys around next time. Cheers.